Welcome back to the man cave. Yesterday I was able to at least pull the box out of the bag and express my dislike of how Amazon shipped it to me. We did get very lucky. As you can see, there is no damage on any of my corners this time. Not like one of my Hero Quest expansions. So the box held up. Thank goodness. So this is their new Talisman Nemesis set. It is one of the things I was most excited about for Gen Con, and then when we didn't get to buy it at Gen Con, it was one of the things that I was most disappointed about not taking home with me. But I pre-ordered as soon as they went up live. It says I got to play it while I was there, and while I was there, while the game was going on, I was allowed to read the rules. So I looked through the whole book and I know what some of the hidden stuff is. I'm not going to have any spoilers in this one. You don't have to worry. I'll do a deep dive on this later, and I'll do some spoilers to show stuff. I'm just going to show what they are already showing. When ancient beasts run rampant, you must unite against a common nemesis played by one of your own. One player commands the frenzied lords of nature, leaving destruction in their wake. The others must answer the call of the hunt and take these beasts down. Reveal unique mystery figures as you complete different trials. So here's a picture of the back of the box. Now most of you got to see the stuff from Gen Con, and those were much better pictures than the back of the box is going to be, but that's that. Now this says that the contents here are a double-sided center board. You know what? We're not going to worry about the contents. We're going to open it up and just look at it as we go. I'm really excited. Like I said, I have been looking forward to this for a long time. I was not a big Talisman fan from the past. As a matter of fact, before 5th edition, all I had ever played was part of a game of the Batman one. What got me back into this, or what got me interested in this to begin with, was the minis are so usable with the Hero Quest line that they've got going. They're the same size, they're the same, they look as if they could be from the same world. As a matter of fact, we started a conversation in Discord the other day about what world Hero Quest is actually set in. I think it'd be pretty cool if they figured out a way to make it the same world that the Talisman game is in. Whether the Talisman happened at a different time, like way in the distant past, or if the timelines, and then you could do something to merge that. People keep talking about the potential for crossovers. There's been a lot of Hero Quest talk. Now that Hero Escape is doing G.I. Joe, I would love to see Hero Quest and Talisman do some kind of crossover. One of the minis that was in the hidden reveals of the last set actually makes a pretty good bad guy figure for Hero Quest. So, all right, without further ado, we're taking off the top of the box. No art inside, but that's fine. Here we have our disclaimer. Stop! Don't open anything from this box. Read below to begin the game. The story so far, you choose your most regal player to read the text out loud. You live in uncertain times. In the years that have passed since the last champion bore the crown of command, the realm beyond the portal of power has been enveloped by lush wilderness that conceals dangerous primal creatures not seen since ages long past. Those foolish enough to venture to this strange new environment are never seen again. Certainly there have been none who emerge in possession of the coveted crown. Those still living amidst the plague of beasts keep their heads down and do what they can to survive, yourself included. Still, there is a part of you that wonders longingly at the chance to prove your worth. Whatever that looks like in a world such as this, teeming with danger and uncertainty, as you lay your head to rest on this night, you are startled by a vision that consumes your consciousness. An imposing woman bearing gleaming armor and crimson-plated hair strands stands before you. A bird of prey alights her shoulder, eyes as fiercely narrowed as its mistress. Her visage is one you recognize, though you never met her. There have been whispers of the Lady of Hunt, a powerful figure among a few who dwell some of their terror and turmoil of the last years. She speaks to you in resonant tones. Hear me now, you who seek glory. Our land has been overridden by malicious and brutal creatures born of chaos. They rise from the ruptured seams in the spirit world, tempestuous beasts, spoiled sons of nature. While they live and roam these once governable lands, There can be no progress, no order, and so they must be hunted. I seek companions willing to answer the call to do so. Tell me, will you join my hunt? You meet her gaze and snap awake. So what's different about Talisman Nemesis? It's a one versus many setup. Talisman Nemesis, one of you will play the Nemesis. The player will control and roll for the adversary, villain characters, enemies, and other hostile creatures on the board. The Nemesis's objective is to eliminate their fellow players. All other players who play as heroes who must work together to overcome 3 unique trials and triumph over the Nemesis and their many minions. How to win. If you're the hero, each trial has its own adversary, villain characters, and minions. To win, you'll need to defeat each trial's adversary before the Nemesis player wipes you out. If you're the Nemesis, each trial has a unique objective for your win. Trials. Whether you're a hero or the Nemesis, players may play through all 3 trials to complete the campaign. As you complete trials, you'll open boxes to discover mystery cards and figures to add to your game, and that'll change the rules for each trial as well. Shared fate. Hero characters pool their fate tokens together and share resources amongst each other. After all, you're in this together. That's going to be the same as the previous expansion that they did for this. The center board replaces the inner region of your Talisman game board. You'll play all 3 trials of Talisman Nemesis on the hunting grounds board, or side of the board. The other side, the Fey domain, can be used as an alternative inner region when you play standard Talisman 5th edition. Learn more about both sides of the board in the rulebook. Alright, so and then it says what you need for this journey is, of course, this game, expansion, and the base game. The next step says you'll prepare your play area by following the set setups on page 7 of the rulebook, and then turn to page 10 of the rulebook to start. So the next thing we have here is this new center board. Oh, and it's sealed, unfortunately. I wish they hadn't done this. Or they should have put one of those little tear pieces like they do on cards. Oh, you got a knife there?
Working on it.
Okay. I think I found an opening. Yeah. All right. It would suck to wreck this right now. There we go. Like I said, I've been waiting for this since before Gen Con. I was excited, and then that didn't work. It's not giving me anything to start with. Oh, here we go. Nope. There. That might have done it. There we go. All right. So, calamity has been averted. So here we have the new center of the board. This side is the lair of the beast. That's the side that this game will be taking place on. This will take the place of where the dragon is in the main board. It says, Lair of the Beast, if all the sacred sites have been destroyed, you may summon the adversary to this space. If you choose to do so, you immediately attack the adversary with strength or craft. So, part of this game is you have to go through and destroy the sacred spaces on the big board. And then we have the Heart of the Grove, more woodlands, treacherous woodlands, and then the Wall of Thorns. So this, in the typical game, is where you would teleport in. This one says, characters must have a talisman to enter this space. While in the hunting grounds, heroes roll 1 die and move that number of spaces. So any animal or monster enemy you encounter in this space will add 7 to their strength. That's at the Heart of the Grove. Woodlands are all regular. The treacherous woodlands, you draw 4 cards. So yeah, so you've got one. So you're just going to go right around the circle. It doesn't look like it, or around the circle, I guess this either way. It doesn't look like it's as hard as the previous game.
Looks like that's a wall, so it has to go this height. You have to go.
Okay.
There's a wall right here, so you have to go around that way.
Okay, that makes sense.
And go in.
All right, so then we have this side of the board. This side of the board is
very pretty.
Yes, and they call it this is the Crown of Command Fey Dragon. So instead of fighting the regular dragon that you would normally fight, this one has a Fey Dragon, strength of 10, craft of 10, challenger's choice to attack with strength or craft. It says the Capricious Fey Dragon has 1 fate token per game. On the first contested roll that she loses, she uses her fate to re-roll her die. Once used, flip the fate token to the dark side to show it's been spent. Any player can use one fate token on their fate to flip the Fey Dragon's spent fate token back to the light side, allowing her to use it on a future roll. So that, because in the base game you're playing against each other. So, and this looks like it does the typical. That says that you need the talisman to get in, and then you go around and you get to here to come in. It looks very interesting. All right, so, but that's for the base game. This is for the expansion. The next thing in our box is the Talisman Nemesis Rulebook. Okay, so let's flip through this briefly. The art is amazing. So this shows you what you'll need from the core box, or from this box, and what you'll need from the core box. So you use the stuff from here, and then the core box, this is the things that you use. It'll help you set up, if it's like, yeah, this tells you what to take out, what to leave in. What's the main difference, just like what we saw in the thing. Says it's going to have the Nemesis is different, the heroes are going to be a little bit different because you work together. The trials, the creature board, which is the center, the game, some of the game terms that they use, and then how to use fate. There's a glossary in the back of this book as well for different game terms. Okay, then we flip to, it said page. So this is to set up the talisman continued. So I tell you, oh, and here's where the pieces of the board are talked about for which way you're going to do it. And then it has you get ready for your beginning one. This is how to play. This is how to read the rule book. Quick start guide. The quick start here for the Trial 1, Tusk and Forever.
And Fervor.
Or Tusk and Fervor. Okay, I'm reading upside down. Okay, so here's how to play the hero characters, how to use the Nemesis, and then the center board again for the hunting grounds. Beware.
Lair of the Beast.
And then here's how to play your villains. You're encountering a villain character. This is the adversaries playing the Nemesis. So this is a much more in-depth rulebook than the one they gave us on the last one. Movement for your villain characters, attacking with the adversary. So this is nice. And then here you have our first trial. So this is your winning condition. And then it brings us to this. So we're not going to go past that page because we're going to skip the two trials, and then we're going to just show. Okay, so here's a whole section on the Fey domain and how to use that in your main game. And then here is this is still parts of the board here. It goes over what each of these things do. And then you have your glossary. I guess, no? Oh, okay. Restore it. And how to put the game back together when you're done. That's pretty cool. Restoring your game after trial 3. I thought there was they must have been referencing the glossary in the main rule book. All right, there's our rule book. Now we go to the cards. So cards in this. Well, there's two that are different size. So and there's tokens on here too. So these punch boards are going to get thrown away anyway. So this is a good place to try and break in. All right. So here we have our hero for this set. She's the Huntress. She has a mini right here. A lot of people have complained that they don't think that the mini is action oriented enough. I do think she looks pretty cool, actually. She might not be shooting at the moment, but she's definitely looking across the battlefield to see what's going on. So the Huntress says, if you move into a space that has one or more animal enemies or villain characters, you may end your movement there and encounter that enemy or character. When you roll a 1 to 3 in the forest, you do not have to lose a life. You trade in any value, animal, enemy, or villain to gain 1 strength or 1 craft. So in this game, normally as you're leveling up, you have to get more than what your current is. She can do it with any value animal. So she can just go around hunting and use those to get strength. So that's a pretty powerful character. That's neutral, right? Yeah,
looks like
good
it,
is gold, neutral is blue, and evil's the reddish color. So she's a neutral character. She can be used as, you know, in the regular game as well. And she has a mini that is the same size as the minis in the regular game. And I think this is a darker gray. You know, the other minis are much lighter gray. Now, there's other cards here. These other cards are these new animal companions. These animal companions are not only for this game, they're something that you can take over into any version of this game. So you can play animal companions when you're playing the regular Talisman when you're against each other. We have a saber-toothed tiger. And as you can see, they level up. So on level 1, they have a special power, and it tells you that when you go to your next level, the requirement to get to level 2 is right here. So then you go to level 2, the requirement is right here, and these are the powers you get. And then to get to level 3, that's the power you'll get. So this is something that every single character within the game can use. The typical Talisman game is only for 5 players, and they have made 6 animal companions. I think it's only 5 players.
It says 3 to 6 on Nemesis.
Okay, so 6 players. So there's an animal companion of the saber-toothed tiger. Here's one that's a unicorn. Now these do not have minis as of yet. Maybe that could be one of the bonus minis. I don't know. I'm not opening that up yet.
Beautiful artwork on the companion card.
Well, and I like that this talks about it's a different back than the hero back. See, but it's obviously a companion too. So I kind of like that. So here we have a tusk boar, which looks like some kind of mountain goat ram type thing. Here we have a reindeer. And look how that is really cool. It's obviously touched by something, because that's not what a typical reindeer would look like. Then we have the flame mane, which looks like a hell horse that the Dark Riders would come in on. And then we have a rhino. So along with that, we get the boar trial 1 tusk and fervor. And this is the boar card. Here's his mini. And this thing is gigantic. Yeah, they're big beasts. Interesting. We talked about how we couldn't remember the name of the anime forever, and then it finally came to us. It reminds us like the demon-touched boar in Princess Mononoke, the anime. So that is a gorgeous mini. I've been hearing the word chunky a lot lately because I've been watching some Ash Quest. He uses that word a lot, and this would definitely fit that definition. I believe he would describe him as a chunky boy. So this says that during setup, we place the sacred sites on the board equal to the number of hero players to the maximum of 4. Then you place them in this order. There's this guy tells you that first one goes to the desert next to the temple. The second one goes to the field next to the graveyard. The third one goes to the hills next to the chapel. And the fourth one goes to the crags. The sacred sites are what this thing is using to gain power in the story. It says that this boar warlord has a strength of 9, a craft of 8, a life of 2, and a fate equal to the player hero characters. The boar warlord cannot take damage until all the sacred sites on the board have been destroyed. On the boar warlord's turn, if the boar warlord loses an attack, it doesn't lose a life. The animal villain characters for this will be boar villains, and apparently those are these little chit things right here. They are 6/4. That's 6 strength and 4 craft with a life of 1. If you take a tile, the character with less than their starting life, remove 1 additional tile from that character. Oh, that's cool. If you take a life of a character with less than their starting life, remove an additional tile. So you get your tiles back to continue to play them once he brings all the enemies on the board. So you kill them and they have to keep repeating. The nice thing is, I believe these count as animal enemies, so they'll work for the huntress. And then this says the animal enemy is a boar minion, strength of 3, life of 1. And what it says here, it's going to trial rush. You may move 1 villain character on the board up to 3 spaces without attacking. That's what the special card that will be added in here is. Speaking of cards, that's what we have next. Can't see that knife again. They do not make these easy to get into. All right. So, we have a new type of card here. Here's in the back. And in this we have a Pep Boon of 4. Oh, these must be, okay, these are the Boon cards. So we have a Pep Boon, a Foresight Boon, Fate's Gamble, the Wayward Guide, Fleeting Vigor, I'm going to go underneath, the Warlock's Passage, the Night Boon, the Hidden Path.
The might, not night.
Okay. Vitality, Fortune, Brilliance, Forestall, Fleeting Wit, and Abundance. Now, I got to play this at Gen Con. I'm pretty sure that these boon cards get given out by the Lady the Hunt who brought us this quest. Then these are new magic spells that are in this game. We have Premonition, Phantom Broker, we got 2 of those. Riches, Gifted Pupil, Arcane Studies, Pull Strings, Lure, and Arcane Mastery. Okay. Then we have another new type of card, and I believe these are for the Nemesis. I think these are their cards. We have Mobilize, Spur, we got another Spur, Onslaught, we got 2 of those, Turning Point, and Breakneck. And then we have, oh, I think these are more of their cards. They're just different. So these must be their spells. These must be their special action cards. The Brutal Charge, which we have 2 of. Door, which we have 2 of. Warlord's Favor. Sundered Fate. And Bloodlust. So this is the Nemesis Additional Turns card. You use this if you have a 5 to 6 player game. So it says in a 5 or 6 player game, this card represents an additional turn for the Nemesis player. So 1, 2, 3 people would go, and then 4, 5 would go. So that he would go in between. He would go in between. I think that's where it goes. In a 5 or 6 additional turn for the Nemesis player between the second and third player. So 1, 2 go. Then so the Nemesis, then 1, 2, then the Nemesis, then 3, 4, 5, and then the Nemesis again. I think is how that goes. So you're not just annihilating it, and they're trying to balance the game a bit. And I like that idea. Not that I get to play with 5 or 6 people very often. And then we have new equipment cards, or new treasure cards that go in the deck when we're using. And some of these may be able to go into the regular game. I'm not going to go through that right now. We'll do a deeper dive in this later. We have Trial Rush, Yeah, Trial Rush.
These are enemies.
Oh. Yeah, but they come out of the main deck card. So there's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 of those. Then we have the Sacred Sites that we talked about. There are 4 of these. And then we have the Pathway Place. Then we've got a card for the Final Encounter. Immediately upon drawing this card, you check to see if all the Sacred Sites on the board have been destroyed. If no, the Nemesis automatically wins and the trial ends. Reset and try again. If yes, a final encounter with the adversary begins. See to the death on page 14 of the rulebook. And I'm pretty sure what that means is if this comes up and you've already destroyed the 4 Sacred Sites, your hero team gets teleported to the center where you meet the boar. I think that's where that happens.
Well, you can probably read it in the page 14 of the rulebook.
Right, and like I said, I'm going to do a deeper dive when we do the in-depth thing on this, a review later. And then the last couple things we have in this box, we have the setup for Trial 3 and the setup for Trial 2. Trial 2. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I see. Do not open until the heroes have successfully completed Trial 1. So this is your reward box. And this box, I assume, will be the setup for Trial 2. Once you win Trial 2, you'll open this up, and then you'll have your box for Trial 3. And I don't know what's in here. It said that there were some hidden minis, some hidden cards. Sounds very interesting. I'm not going to spoil this stuff for you guys yet. I'll do that later. And when I do, I'll make sure that I put huge spoiler warnings on there so that the video isn't something you have to totally avoid. But that is our initial unboxing of the Talisman Nemesis set that I've been very excited for. I'm very happy to have. I'm hoping that you all look forward to it. Online, I've heard some people say that their problem with these expansions is that they seem almost too linear. And I can understand that, especially with the previous expansion, but I think they learned from that. This one, yes, there is a story where you go through those 3 trials, but once you do that, it seems like there could be a lot of fun replayability depending on which of the villains you like more, depending on whether or not the people at your table want to have a co-op game versus a all versus all game or a one versus all game. We now have the ability to put each of those classic game modes on the table to play Nemesis, and I love that idea. So I know that some people find that the replayability just isn't there. What I like about this set is even outside of this story, they're giving us assets to use within the big game. The idea that they're giving us animal companions for every hero for any version of this game, that's pretty fascinating. I think that's a really good step in the right direction. So they wanted to make sure that we could use different cards different parts of this in the main game as well. I think they're trying, and I think that this is I know in the last one we got we ended up with 4 different minis that you could get at the end, and some of those became new heroes, which was nice. This starts us off with a hero. It's not hidden. They're like, here, have a new hero for your set. Here's our first bad guy for the set, and the idea that they made a new center board, I mean, they're trying. So while some people might think that this is not the type of Talisman expansion that they're used to, because all of the previous Talisman expansions, all they did was enhance the main game. Different ways to play the main game, but it was always still Talisman, and it always still felt like Talisman. That is the exact reason why I like these, is it makes you come at Talisman in a different way. So if you ever get tired of playing the same old game, here's the same old game, but a whole new way to play. It's enhancing the replayability, I think. So I'm very pleased with this. I haven't done my complete review yet, but just from the initial unboxing and the excitement that I have from getting to play it over at Gen Con, I'm psyched for this set, and I'm giving it a critical success just based on me. Once my family plays it a couple of times, I'll tell you how it went for the full cave. But until that time, may all your rolls be crits. Have a good evening.